Hi, welcome to this channel. My name is Truth, and today I'm going to share with you the top 10 favorite novels I have read this year. Books that have kept me up till 3 a.m. just to see what will happen, what is happening. Yep, those books that keeps you up awake, that you need to stay to see them. So let's get into it. Yeah. The first book is called A Gentleman in Moscow by Amortals. People who are very close to me knows that I cannot stop making noise about this book. Oh, I love it. I love it. It's one of the best books I've read in a very long time. This beautiful written book follows the life story of Count Alexander Rostov. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name well. He got a house arrest and he had to live there for the rest of his life. When I started reading the book, it was a book that when I went through the reviews that people were talking about, I didn't see anyone write anything negative about it. I'm like, what? I need to see this book, because mostly when you go through the reviews of books, people are just writing trash about the books. But this book literally had everyone talking positively about it. But when I started reading, I was like, I don't know where this book is going. And then one character, one 9-year-old girl was introduced, and I loved the book. There's just so much humor, there's so much to learn. This book has literally everything about life in it: love, relationships, family, upbringing, so much wisdom. Let me see if I can read a few excerpts from the book with you. After all, what can a first impression tell us about someone we have just met for a minute in the lobby of a hotel? For that matter, what can a first impression tell us about anyone? Why? No more than a chord can tell us about Beethoven or the brushstroke about Botticelli. By their very nature, human beings are so capricious, so complex, so delightfully contradictory that they deserve not only our consideration, but our reconsideration and our unwavering determination to withhold our opinion until we have engaged with them in every possible setting at every possible hour. I feel like I haven't read this thing in a way that, like, if you are reading the book and you are reading it in your mind, it just tells you so much about the fact that you just automatically judge someone or have an opinion about them, just like you met them 15 minutes ago. You literally judge their whole life. Meanwhile, you don't know their stories and their backgrounds and what made them who they are. I'm telling you, this book is so thoughtfully written. Please go get a copy of A Gentleman in Moscow to read it. The second book is called A Good Name by Yejide Kilanko. This book is very interesting. So it's set in America by a Nigerian immigrant who lives there, and I feel like he's having conflict with, culture. You were brought up from a different culture and you come here and you meet a different culture, and he just has so much conflict. This book was such a fast read for me. We're reading it on our book club, and like as we read it, it ended before I knew. I was like, how did the book end so fast? There are just so many things in it. If you're looking from the outside, it will piss you, but that makes the book very interesting. So the storytelling here is so beautiful, and let's see if I can read an excerpt from the book for you. One cannot use all 10 fingers to eat. You must save for the raining season. Eziafa was sure Ine had asked his uncle to have this conversation with him. What does one do when life is full of rainy days? One roasts one's corns and ube under a leaking umbrella. Dede Matthias said, life does not always give us the luxury of waiting for the sun. And so you need to find a way to live within the rainy days. This book is so good. It's so good. Get a copy of it to read. The third book is called Rules of Civility by Amortals. Yes, by this time you know that if I read a good book from an author, I go look for all of their other books to read, and this one didn't disappoint me at all. So this book is set in the 1930s in New York City, about the life of a lady called Catherine Content, while she tries to climb the social ladder. Those days where there were not really many opportunities for women, and it's so interesting. It's so interesting. It shares so much about life within the 1930s, trying to navigate friendships and love and the things you have to sacrifice for it. Let me see if I can get an excerpt from the book to read for you. How little imagination and courage we show in our hatreds. If we earn 50 cents an hour, we admire the rich and pity the poor. We reserve the full force of our venom for those who make a penny more or a penny less. That's why there isn't a revolution every 10 years. Let me read this excerpt to you. Right from the first, I could see a calmness in you, that sort of inner tranquility that they write about in books, but that almost no one seems to possess. I was wondering to myself, how does she do that? And I figured it could only come from having no regrets, from having made choices with such poise and purpose. It stopped me in my tracks a little, and I just couldn't wait to see it again. Isn't that beautiful? The book is so good, eh? It's so good. You should just check out Amotaut and go get all of his books to read. The fourth book is called The Things We Cannot Say by Kelly Raymer. Oh my God, this book is so good. This is a heart-wrenching novel that spans from different continents and different decades. It's a story about a woman and her grandmother who shares the horrors of the life they lived in World War II from Poland to America. There's just so much in the book. You begin to see how people can endure love, right? People can hold on to certain people no matter what is happening, whether there's death in between them, whether whatever is going on, whether the world is ending behind them, they will hold on to each other for the love they have for each other. The book is so good. I really liked it. I really loved it, and so you should check it out. The fifth book is called The Lincoln Highway by Immortals. Yes, I know. I read 4 books by the author, but there are 3 on this list. This is the last on the list. The Lincoln Highway by Immortals is such a good book. The book is set in the 1950s about the adventures of Emmett Watson and his younger brother. There's just so much in it. I think Immortals is such a great writer. There's just so much depth in his books that you are reading a novel and you are enjoying the stories, but there are just so many things you want to learn about. Let me see if I have excerpts from this book to read for you. There is a time in every man's education when he arrives at the conviction that envy is ignorance, that imitation is suicide, that he must take for himself for better, for worse, as his portion, that though the wide universe is full of good, no kernel of nourishing corn can come to him but through his toil bestowed on that plot of ground which is given to him to till. The power which resides in him is new in nature, and none but he knows what that is which he can do, nor does he know until he has strived. This is actually, the original quote is from Ralph Waldo Emerson, but the way it is being put in this book is just something I love. Like, it gets to a point where you sit and you're like, I can't be jealous, I can't be ignorant, I need to just do the things I have to do as myself. And it takes most people a lot of time to get to that point. This book is very good. There are just so many things I can read for you, but I would recommend you go get it and read it for yourself. The third book is called The Housemaid's Secret by Frida McFadden. Yes, this book is so good. So it's a series about a housemaid. It's a psychological thriller. There are just so many twists and turns there. A lady who is a housemaid usually finds herself in a house where her employer is worse and bad, and she needs to rescue somebody. But the twists and turns in the book will leave you can't breathe while you are reading this book. The book is so good, so go check it out. I love her books. I have read a few. I've read the series, so I recommend that go check this book and read for yourself. The 7th book is Sankofa by I can't pronounce her name, but I'm going to write it when I'm editing this video. It's a book about self-discovery. So it's set in Britain and some parts of West Africa about a woman who needs to go find the roots of her father's life, just to go back and find where exactly does she come from and what are her people made of. Plus the themes of heritage, belonging, and the complexities of families. You will love it. It's a short read. It's not too much. I think I read it in a few days. You will love this book, so go check it out. The eighth book is called Last Seen in La Paz by Kwe Kwati. Yes, this was also a book club read. I read with my book club members, and it's very interesting. It's set in both Ghana and Nigeria, about a missing girl that they need to find, and there's just so much drama in between, and I love it. Most books I'm always able to predict like who committed the crime and who did it, but this was a little bit different. Like the person you suspect did it turns out is innocent, so who did it? Yeah. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but you should go get it. It's such an interesting read. Last Seen in La Paz by Queen Kwati. The ninth book is called Presumed Innocent by Scott Turo. This is a classical legal thriller. You will love it. It's a story about a prosecutor who finds himself accused of murder. Imagine, you are supposed to prosecute and they say you are the one who committed the murder. And so he needs to find a way to prove whether he's guilty or not. Very, 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 very interesting. And there's always a twist at the end, and I love it. You won't even expect the person who committed this murder. So if you like legal thrillers, you should get a copy of this book and read it for yourself. The last book is called Only Time Will Tell by Jeffrey Archer. I know if my friend sees this, she's just going to be pissed. She recommended the Clifton Chronicles for me many, many years ago, but I kept saying, and I decided to just pick the first book in the series to see, and this book was so good. The book was so good. The book is a sweeping family saga that spans through generation, following the story of Harry Clifton. So many secrets in the family, so many dramas, so many people. You want to hear all the gist and the juice of family secrets, go read Only Time Will Tell. That's if you haven't read it. It's an old book, but the fact that I'm now reading it and I'm enjoying it, I had to just hit my head that they have recommended this book for you for a long time. Why didn't you read it? So don't also wait for a long time before you read this book. So read this book and come back and tell me later how you think about it. So I have just given you 10 books for you to go read. The year hasn't ended, but these books have left an impression on me. Mostly when I read novels, most of them I just forget about even the story a few days after, or I forget about the title, but there are certain books you read that you will never forget. This year, these are the 10 novels I have read that I think I won't forget. There are just so many things that it touched me. Like the story was either too unique, the writing was very unique, or just something in the book that just kept me captivated that I don't think I want to forget. And they have all left an impression on me. So go get a copy of these books and read for yourself. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, share with your reader friends, share for your book clubs to read them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.